The first problem we have to overcome when trying to learn QuickBooks Online is, how do I get access to the software? But even that is too simplified a question, because we not only want to get access to the software, we want to get access to the software in a way that is as conducive to learning QuickBooks Online as possible, which typically means we would like to have some kind of sandbox system, access to the software that is designed specifically for practice. Why is this a problem? Because QuickBooks Online, unlike the old desktop version, has a subscription type of model, so that we typically have to pay for a new QuickBooks subscription every time we set up a new company account, unlike the old desktop system where we basically downloaded the QuickBooks software and were able to make as many company files as we wanted, that system being similar to something like a Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel. So if we have access then to QuickBooks Online, it might be access through the company that we work for, which already has their data within it, or it might be our own company file that has our own data in it. That's a problem, because we don't want to just toy around and practice and tinker and fiddle with the software, because that's going to mess up the data file, and tinkering and practicing is usually what gets us better at learning something like a QuickBooks Online type of software. The added problem we have is, do we want a file that already has something in it, which means we can practice tinkering with the data that is in that file and how what we do changes the data in the file? Or do we want to practice setting up a new file, in which case we don't want to have any data in the system, because we want to practice setting up the data from scratch? Note that you can kind of compare those two systems to a situation where you're going to work for a particular company. If you're going to get a job within the accounting department, the system has already been set up by the time you go into the accounting department. What you want to learn then is how to tinker around with the data, what has been done in the past, and try to mirror that type of system as you do your data input in the future. But you also might be a bookkeeper that sets up new company files and might specialize maybe in cleaning up company files, cleaning up like the general ledger and the underlying foundational items, in which case we typically want to practice the startup process, meaning we would like a sandbox file that has nothing in it, so that we can practice putting those foundational items in, like the general ledger, the chart of accounts and the beginning balances, and so on and so forth. We want to keep those in mind when we think about the different ways that we can access the software specifically for practice purposes versus possibly accessing the software for our own use, for our company file, client company file, or for our business. So we've got the 30-day free trial period. This is one option. We'll go into these options in more detail shortly. We've got the QuickBooks Online student trial, which might be accessible to certain people like students. We'll have to define what a student is. We've got the free test drive. We're going to have to distinguish what the free test drive is, when we would use it versus the free 30-day trial. And then we have discounts, meaning you're going to have to buy the software. And if you buy the software, you might want to look for the discounts, possibly talking to your accountant or QuickBooks professional and seeing if they can get you a lower price, possibly at the point of purchase.